This is Free Zone Radio.
Roses are red, violets are blue. They met at a party, and by Act 5, we're all through. For Free Zone Radio, I'm Jason Crockett, and this is Second Stage. There are certain texts that feel untouchable in the high school classroom. Romeo and Juliet seems to be one of those. February rolls around, Valentine's Day decorations go up, and somewhere in the country, a freshman English class is opening to Act 1. Now, I haven't read Romeo and Juliet since my own freshman year in 93-94. That's not a point of bragging. That's not a point of pride. It's just a confession. The play became one of those titles that I could reference, or summarize, even teach around, without ever actually returning to the full text. Meanwhile, my co-teacher, Hannah, who once sat in this classroom as a student and later came back as a student teacher, now teaches it enthusiastically to her own freshmen. She sees energy in it, urgency, relevance. So we decided to revisit it together. Will Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet in the mid-1590s, drawing on earlier Italian tales of star-crossed love and shaping them into a tragedy built on speed, impulse, and miscommunication. His language moves between street-level bawdy humor and soaring poetic intensity. Even if you've never read it, the story itself is familiar. Two teenagers from feuding families meet, they fall hard and fast, secretly marry, and within a matter of scenes are separated by violence, exile, and a plan gone tragically wrong. By the end, both are dead, and their families are left to reckon with the cost of their hatred. It's often packaged as the ultimate love story. But is it? Is it really? Or is it a study in adolescent impulsivity, tribal loyalty, and the consequences of parents who failed to parent? And when it comes to Romeo and Juliet, a play that already dominates ninth grade reading lists, are we continuing it out of habit or because it still earns its place? For Valentine's Day, Hannah and I sat down to reconsider just that, whether the Montagues and the Capulets still deserve the spotlight, or whether it's time to part with such sweet, sweet sorrow. I feel like there should be something Montagues and Capulets. What are the Montagues and Capulets of the corporate world? Like I'm looking at one right now that you have in front of you.
Coca-Cola?
Coke versus and Pepsi.
Yeah.
So Coke and Pepsi are the Montagues and the Capulets. Mm-hmm. Even though they're basically the same, we all know they're basically the same, there are distinct differences. Because we like, which one?
Coke.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Pepsi just tastes synthetic to me. It's overly sweet. It doesn't hit there's a bite to Coke that I much prefer.
I agree.
Even like I prefer the Diet Coke.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Or what do they call it? The fridge cig.
Yeah.
Right?
Fridge cig.
Because we're white girls like that.
Yeah.
I don't like Diet Pepsi.
Oh, no. And when a restaurant says, I have Pepsi, we have Pepsi. No, I'll take water.
Water's fine.
I would rather drink water than drink a Pepsi.
So what are the other Montagues and Capulets of the corporate world?
Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Facebook and X.
They're basically the same thing, but they are distinctly different and enemies, right? Even though they're probably evil on the same side. You know that they are. What's another good Montague and Capulet? Oh, this might hit some people the wrong way. Republicans and Democrats. They're the Montagues and Capulets of America right now. The Montagues and Capulets, a pox on both your houses. We really need one of you to step up. You're just not doing anything, and a pox on both your houses, right? What's another one?
I want to somehow get Amazon in there.
Ooh, Amazon. What's another retailer, an online retailer?
Yeah.
Ooh, because Amazon just kind of like conglomerate has taken it all.
I know. Ooh. I mean, like, would you do Amazon and Walmart?
I guess so. Let me look on
your big online retail versus your superstore.
I know. So if you're thinking
Walmart
about like
and Target.
That's perfect. Walmart and Target.
Yes.
Oh gosh, that's so perfect too. So which one's which? Is Walmart the Montague and Target the Capulet?
Okay, so I have always just felt like the Capulets are a little more high class than the Montagues.
Really?
And so I would feel
Why is
like
that?
I don't know, but every time I have read it, they seem more hoity-toity, and the Montagues to me feel a little dirty.
Okay. So I clearly don't have the background and experience that you do with this, but I felt the same way while reading Lord Capulet. Yes, there was a part that I put in here and I was like, okay, Shakespeare's presenting him as Ponzi, English fop, or he's supposed to be Italian, but they all feel English to me.
Yeah.
But he's also like pushing some of the kids out of the room, like Tybalt and others, and he keeps getting aggravated at him. And it reminds me of Tony Soprano pushing Christopher out of the room. And it's just like, you trying to like show me up, Christopher? You trying to show me up?
Yes.
Except Lord Capulet sounds all dignified and poncy about
and
it.
for me, I don't know if it's because we get to see Romeo with his friends. And so you see Romeo and Mercutio and Benvolio. And I don't know, I just get this like dirty high school boy image in my head of these boys that are making inappropriate jokes and gestures.
Yes.
And then with Juliet, you only ever get this nobility aspect that they're higher class.
What about Tybalt? Because he's a Capulet.
He is a Capulet.
But do we ever really see Tybalt being crude and uncouth that way?
No, just other than his toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
But we don't ever get him, who's making the jokes about Nurse? Who, who's being crude in this play?
It's always those Montagues.
It's the Montagues.
It's them Montague
and so
boys
to
down the
me,
road.
Montague's Walmart and Capulet is Target.
I don't know if this is at all right, but in my head, it's stuck that Montague is blue and Capulet is red.
Yes.
Is that like a thing?
I did that. Yeah, I think that is a thing.
Really?
Because if you watch all the films, the Capulets are always shown as red. They're wearing red dresses.
Huh. I wonder why that is.
And Romeo's always in blue.
Isn't there like a theory that like certain words have colors to them? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got 4 folders. Each one's a different color, blue, green, yellow, red. And you have 4 classes and you have to label each one.
Okay, this is what I always did.
Okay.
So English was always red for me.
Oh.
And then green was science.
That makes sense.
Math was blue.
Always.
And then social studies was always whatever was left over. So sometimes it was yellow,
wow.
sometimes it was orange, sometimes it was purple. It just depends on what colors I got from Staples that year. But it was always a hard English was red, math was blue, science was green.
I don't know that English in my head has a color, but science is definitely green and math is definitely blue. What is that?
I don't know.
But Capulets are definitely red and Montagues are definitely blue. And Walmart's logo is blue and Target's is red.
And Coca-Cola is red and Pepsi is blue.
How about
and
that?
I always show this Coca-Cola commercial whenever I'm teaching plot, and it's called Brotherly Love. And it's like the commercial starts off and it's these 2 brothers at home and the older brother's teasing the younger brother. And at the beginning, the younger brother is wearing red, the older brother's wearing blue. And it's brotherly love. Like he takes his headphones and moves them to a high shelf. He steps on his foot under the dinner table. Well, then they're outside of the home and they're at the park and some bullies show up and they take the younger brother's Coke. Younger brother is still wearing red. Bullies show up and they're in blue. Big brother shows up in red now, takes the Coke back from the bullies and gives it back to the younger brother. And we always talk about it with plot, but I tell the kids it's a 1-minute commercial. There's no dialogue. They're playing the song in the background, hey, brother. There's no dialogue. But that's a diss to Pepsi at the same time because it's color theory.
And Republicans are labeled red nowadays. Democrats are labeled blue nowadays. Also, we do the same kind of dichotomy with male and female in the country because girls nowadays, little girls are labeled pink, boys are labeled
blue.
baby blue. But that used to be reversed because back in the day, girls were paired up with blue because it was seen as a more recessive color, and boys were labeled with pink because it's a derivation of red, and red is the more aggressive color.
Okay.
But at some point, there was a shift in that too.
I didn't know that.
But just also like attitudes toward Republican and Democrat have flipped in a shift because Lincoln, the party of Lincoln, was Republican. But those attitudes shifted somewhere in the 1930s, 20s, somewhere around in there. And then the ideas of Republicans and Democrats kind of like switched sides of the aisle. So there is something about color theory with that. What about PayPal and Venmo?
Oh, yeah.
Which one's Montague? Which one's Capulet?
See, I prefer Venmo.
I do too.
It's easier to use. They don't take out fees.
But I feel safer with PayPal. Why do I don't know why I feel safer with PayPal. I don't know, but if I'm buying something online, I want to use my PayPal because I feel like they won't betray me. Venmo is quicker and it's friendlier. It's like my buddy, but I don't know that I would trust him with all my cash or my credit card number. I don't know that I want him to have that. Okay, McDonald's versus
Burger King.
Right. I agree. And I like Wendy's, but they don't even appear in this for me.
Oh, yeah, no.
They're not even one of them.
Yeah. But I also wonder if, well, no, because at the same time, I was about to say, is it because we're in a town that doesn't have a Wendy's? But I mean, you're technically.
But I drive past it all the time and I
Yeah.
don't even go to it. Ooh,
Yeah.
I love me a good Burger King burger though.
Oh, I do too. But I also feel dirtier when I eat Burger King.
Why is that? Because I feel like McDonald's is probably the sleazier of the two
I
joints.
know, but yet in my mind,
do.
I associate it with Burger King.
I don't like Burger King fries.
Oh, Burger King fries are my top fries.
Oh, see,
Like, they're my
McDonald's
number
fries.
one.
Oh, I like them.
Oh, I love Burger King fries.
But I feel
McDonald's are in my top 5, but
sleazier, I feel. And when I eat there at McDonald's.
Spotify or Apple Music?
Oh, that's so perfect. I prefer Spotify.
I prefer Spotify.
My son prefers Apple Music.
Okay, when Hunter and I got married, he had Apple Music.
What is that?
I don't know. He was a diehard Apple Music's so much better. But yet, I got him on the Spotify train.
Well, Andy would use Spotify, I think, if he had like a Spotify account. And I'm just leeching off my brother. So I have that. But I don't know. I prefer Spotify. I just feel like way more.
And they've both just killed out Pandora.
Oh, yes.
Because it was at one time Pandora and Spotify.
Yeah. Oh, I totally. And even then, I used to use Pandora.
Oh,
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
But you couldn't, I don't know.
You could make the radio stations.
But can you customize them?
If you paid for
There it
Pandora,
was.
you could.
Yeah.
But the free was good enough.
Ooh. What's another one? Because I like this game.
Netflix, Hulu.
Oh my gosh, that's so perfect. Netflix and Hulu. Again, I kind of feel like it's a pox upon both your houses. I don't know that I prefer one over the other.
At one time, I would have said Netflix. But now I feel like Hulu stepped it up
Okay.
when they combined with HBO and Disney. And you can get everything on Hulu
That's
now.
100% true. Oh, but here's another weird thing. You know that all of these corporations, they all go back at like tree roots. They all go back to the same 2 or 3 trunks,
yeah.
right? Netflix, I always used to go to for West Wing, and I would just let it play in the background all the time. Well, then HBO bought it, so I totally got my HBO subscription and liked the movies that I found on HBO. Well, then HBO, I think back at Christmas, let West Wing go back to Netflix, but it's still on HBO. So are both companies getting the rights to it, or are both of them owned by the same prince?
Well, and that's like Netflix and Peacock has The Office.
That's right.
You can watch The Office on Netflix, but you can also watch it on Peacock because it's NBC.
Yeah, because they branched off because everybody had to have their own streaming service. Okay, so Netflix and Hulu, I'm definitely going to Hulu for my TV shows.
Oh, for
Right?
sure.
I watch it every day for Law and Order. But if I'm wanting to watch some movies, I probably go to Netflix first. I'm more than I do Hulu. I probably do. Ew. Yeah, but Netflix sometimes leaves me disappointed.
Yeah.
So which one's which? Is Netflix the Montague or the Capulet?
Netflix is red.
It is. And Hulu's green, but still that leans toward the blue. What is this? We've been lied to, or it's not lied to. We've been told this the entire time. What is this? We're being coded. We're being coded as customers right now. So here on Second Stage, we're supposed to reevaluate plays that maybe deserve a second spin in the classroom. The irony is that I've been picking plays that Dr. Eisen taught to me and plays, that maybe the culture knows, like Streetcar Named Desire, but really, does the culture know them? Do the people at large know them? We never use them at high school. Maybe we should pitch it again. This week, for February, for Love Month, for Valentine's Day, like my aunt would say, we're dealing with Will Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. R&J. What do you think about Romeo and Juliet when it first comes to mind?
Oh, I love it. Romeo and Juliet, I love it. But I also think it's marketed as a love story, and it's not. I'm a hardcore, this is not a love story.
Huh.
And I will fight you if you say this is a love story.
So for the uneducated like me and others out there, why ain't this a love story? I thought it was Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah. No. So you have these two families, the Montagues and the Capulets. They both have young children, a boy and a girl. They meet. And in the same night that they meet, they decide they're in love, decide they're going to get married. And it's like a spiral from there. And it's impulsiveness, and basically it ends with the consequences of your own decisions.
Yeah.
And it's not a love story because these two young children are impulsive in their actions. They're not thinking this through. And it's just chaos from there.
But the conventional wisdom or the cultural consciousness says Romeo and Juliet's a love story.
Star-crossed lovers.
Oh my gosh, right?
Fate.
So Romeo and Juliet gets used in high schools all across America freshman year. I'm certain that it doesn't really get used beyond freshman year, right?
I feel like it's a good intro to Shakespeare.
Why is that?
Because the concepts are easy to understand. It's not a history. You know, you're not getting true history. You're not getting into like nobility aspects of it. You're just talking about coming of age. You're looking at these teenagers who we see in the hallway every day. We see Romeo and Juliet. We have them sitting in our classrooms.
It's easy to get characters. It's easy to get plots. It's very relatable to high school kids, especially freshmen.
Yes.
Especially that bridge from 8th grade to freshman. Because, I mean, that's Juliet's age.
Oh, I know.
Right?
I feel like it's easy to draw the kids in with Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Because of the relatability. You have family drama. You have what's marketed as a love story. You have fighting for the boys. It has all the great aspects of a story. And it's easy to draw these kids in, and it's a good starter story when it comes to Shakespeare.
So my pitch for you this week was to think, okay, well, let's flip it. Let's reverse it. What if instead of reconsidering a play that no longer gets to see stage light in the classroom anymore, and maybe it should, what if we take one that always gets to see stage light, and maybe it shouldn't? You and I were talking about it, though, and you and Drew both get to teach our freshman English classes. And you two, I think, on this issue are a little bit of Montague and Capulet yourself.
Oh,
yeah. Right?
Yeah. When we started talking about curriculum when I came here, we were talking about changes, and he was like, well, I'd be fine if we didn't do Romeo and Juliet. And I was like, what? I'm so excited to teach Romeo and Juliet. No way. So we definitely, we butted heads on that one a little bit.
And you've been with us for several years now, and you're still on the train of Romeo and Juliet deserves to be in the class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had originally wanted Drew to be a part of this. He's at home with some sick kids right now, but I really wanted him to be like point counterpoint with this and be like, okay, but here's why. So I'm instead going to just be like the student where you get to convince me, why does this actually deserve to be in the classroom? I told you that I was rereading through Romeo and Juliet, and it hit me, wait a minute, Jason, you never read this in college, because I had the one summer Shakespeare class. It was 30 days of Shakespeare, and you read a play a day. And
I had the same thing with Shirley Laird.
The same professor, Dr.
And she
Shirley
was
Laird.
like, we're skipping it because it's overdone.
Right. I also didn't get to do Hamlet that summer. Did you get to do Hamlet?
We did not do Hamlet or Macbeth.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't read it in college. And no other lit course at the college level is going to go into Romeo and Juliet.
No.
Yeah, we've got bigger, badder things to do. And then when I became a teacher, I have always been with seniors. And I had 1 year of juniors and seniors and sophomores. That's it. So I've never taught freshman English. It hit me, Jason, you've not read this play since your freshman year of high school, which was 93, 94, over 30 years ago. And I was just like, geez. But every year when I'm teaching Shakespeare to kids in class, I always bring up, we always need to know Shakespeare. Y'all read Romeo and Juliet. What do you know about that? And kids will either say they like it or complain, whatever. And I always just mock, well, maybe it should be a study in how Romeo's an idiot and that kind of, he makes stupid choices. So I don't know that I actually have a good appreciation for this play. And you're just going to be the teacher that convinces me. You sell me on why we need to read Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
So it's Valentine's month. I always want to start off by talking about the writer. We are English teachers, and our careers are built upon the house of Shakespeare, right? Western literature, in a way, is built upon the house of Shakespeare. So when you teach Shakespeare to class, like, what do you want to get across to him? Whether it's about his style, his work, his identity, like, what do you always want to teach about him?
Well, I always start off with the fact that he really wasn't famous for his writing until after death.
Yeah.
And we talk about Globe Theater. We talk about how he was an actor in the Globe Theater. And then we go into his style. We talk about tragedies. We talk about comedies and the pattern that follows those. We talk about some of his histories. And then I jump in.
He was mildly, I guess is a way to put it, mildly famous as a writer in his day.
Yeah.
Because if the Queen's going to summon you to court
That's true.
to perform. But Shakespeare was I don't want to say outclassed. He was more, there were other writers who were more well-known at his time. Like old Kit Marlowe with Faust and all of this. Like Marlowe was seen as probably a more eminent playwright in his own day and time, but then Marlowe's life was cut short. He was killed. Shakespeare goes on to live a full life, but it's not until years and years later that he actually, I was listening to a thing on a Shakespeare podcast the other day where we almost didn't have the foundation of Shakespeare. That even after his death, he kind of disappeared from the literary radar. And then it wasn't until an association got together of local people who were like, you know what, we need to reintroduce Shakespeare. Like, he's our local guy. We need to do this. And so they started a Shakespeare festival, and they got his works out there and reprinted. And then Shakespeare really took off, and the folios were reprinted and all of this. Like, his work then started getting like broadcast around the world. This was hundreds of years ago, but still, it's like we almost didn't have that foundation of Shakespeare. And now his writing, his works, his phrases, his quotes are in the lexicon. Movies have his titles in them, right? His characters have been reinvented a billion times over. Shakespeare is the basis for what we read and watch and retell in the English language. He is a basis for this. I'm going to be a little bit of a simp for Shakespeare right now, because really, what English teacher can't? I can stand in front of a high school classroom and I can tell you why I love Shakespeare's writing. But when I watch an interview with Dame Judi Dench or with Sir Ian McKellen or Sir Patrick Stewart, and they're talking about the power of Shakespeare's words, whoa, golly, they sell me on it every single time. I was watching an interview where Kenneth Branagh, who was famous for playing Hamlet, among many other things, and Dame Judi Dench were talking, and he said that he was talking to a friend of his whose father had recently passed away. And when things are so serious and this is so, difficult, you struggle to find the words to communicate with somebody about it, to share the empathy, to say, oh man, I'm sorry. It just feels so hollow. And who among us has not been there where you're like, I don't know what else to say. I feel like I have no words. What words are there? But Branagh said, well, there's this part in Hamlet where Horatio and Marcellus and the others have seen the ghost of Hamlet's father, who's only been dead for a few weeks. And they come to Hamlet to tell him, and he says, sometimes methinks I see my father in my mind's eye. And Horatio says, that I've seen your father. I saw your father. And Hamlet tells him that he was a goodly king, right? But he was a man. Take him for his all in all. And while he's telling about it, he gets choked up thinking about his own father passing away. And Dame Judi Dench is like tearing up. And it's just like you're just pausing, listening to this delivery of Hamlet where he's like, he was a man. Take him for all in all. What a profound thing to say in such simple words. But that's why I love Shakespeare, is that this man, whether he did it all himself, whether other people kind of reinvented his words or added to it, who cares about the process of Shakespeare? But that Shakespeare's words capture the human experience like no other person. And you can turn to anything in Shakespeare, and it's whether it's that student that was in here complaining about feeling mediocre, or the kid feeling like, man, I just can't get that girl out of my mind, or whatever. You can always turn to Shakespeare and find something that's like, that's exactly how I feel, bro. Like, that's why I think why I love Shakespeare. Do you think he did all of his writing by himself?
I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've read enough on, I guess, the conspiracy that he didn't.
Right.
But, I mean, I like to believe that he did.
I think history has a way of ruining us because humans are such short-lived creatures that, I wasn't alive in the 50s, so really what do I know about it except what I've seen on TV and what my parents tell me? And all history, all stories are just retellings from somebody else's perspective. And you're only getting the one shot, you're only getting the one narrative, the one angle. And we're always telling that media is trying to sell you an angle. So we're always getting one angle. What do I really know about Shakespeare, right? Because he lived in the 1600s.
Yeah.
This guy was 400 years ago. What do I know about him? Is it possible that a boy who grew up in Stratford, which is really not a lot different from White County, Tennessee. I've been there, and on a beautiful spring day, it looks like you're driving out on the highway through the hills and the farms, and White County is beautiful. Is it possible that a boy who grew up the son of a merchant, of a rising middle-class man, John Shakespeare, is it possible that this kid who had a typical education in England for his status wrote all of these sonnets and these plays when he did not have experience in war, when he did not have experience as a king? Like, is it possible? I have to believe, sure, because we have writers all the time who invent fanciful things, or you don't have to have been married to know the pain of losing somebody or whatever.
Right.
So I think, yeah. But you get all these people who are like, well, I don't know, because it might have been this lord who was rewriting stuff, or, well, you know what, it might have been so-and-so who edited it. And I mean, I guess that's possible, right? Translations or reprintings are always kind of retellings. But I don't know. I still am just going to err on the side of, that's my Shakespeare.
I know. I want to believe it. You know what I mean? I just...
Recently has come out the movie of Hamnet, right? Have you seen this?
I haven't.
So Ferris, I know, read it, and did she?
I know
watch
she
it yet?
raves about it. Yes.
Okay, which is supposed to be a retelling of Shakespeare and his wife Anne Hathaway's perspective of the stage and his influences on his writing and family and stuff like that. Sir Ian McKellen said that he thought it was really improbable that Shakespeare just, I don't know, that is the real depiction of Shakespeare or that that's an accurate depiction of him, that he would have only gotten his ideas from what he knew at home or whatever. Who am I to argue with Gandalf? Who am I? Who am I to argue with Sir Ian McKellen? But you know what? I don't know that I need, it's a movie. It's a book. I don't know that I need 100% accurate depiction of Bill Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love teaching about his wife, Anne Hathaway.
Oh, yeah. And the conspiracy of the actress Anne Hathaway and her husband.
Tell us, because I think some listeners, maybe one of my kids that I'm making listen to this, they don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's the fact that we have an actress, Anne Hathaway, who looks eerily like William Shakespeare's wife, Anne Hathaway, and the fact that the actress, Anne Hathaway's husband, kind of favors William Shakespeare.
He does. He looks like some of these portrait paintings of Bill Shakespeare. Anne Hathaway.
And it doesn't help that the actress and her husband are also not really aging. Every time I see her, she looks better and better.
You told me you weren't in for conspiracies, but here you are.
Oh,
Anne Hathaway and Shakespeare are vampires that just keep reliving through a modern media and all of that. I was fortunate when we took Swift, Miss Dyer, Miss Hendricks, several of us, we went on this trip to Europe, and we went to England and France. I was really fortunate that we got to go see Stratford, and we got to go see Anne Hathaway's house and some of the other things. I was not excited about going to see Anne Hathaway's house. I remember being like, who cares? It's Anne Hathaway's house. I don't want to see her dolls. I don't want to see her kitchen or whatever like that. Man, I'm really glad that we went, because not only are you getting to like touch the beams of the house and think, you know, Shakespeare did stay here. He was married to the woman who lived here.
The Anne Hathaway.
The Anne Hathaway. But it was also just neat to be able to experience what people in Renaissance England lived like. Her house was huge for the time period. And when you walk in, the ceilings are so low and the stairs are so narrow. And it's almost like Harry Potter stairs that are not going up. You get to see the beds, the furniture, the kitchen, everything. And you're just reminded, you know, they were probably a little bit shorter than modern people are. Medicine was different. Health is just different. Like we've grown and gotten stout here in America. And getting to see Stratford, the city itself. It's so touristy in a way, but it's also a good kind of touristy.
Yeah.
And you're in the house where Shakespeare grew up as a boy, and they show you a bed and they say, this is where Shakespeare would have likely been born. Like, it's probably not the same bed, but also to think that's where he entered the world. Weird. There are performers everywhere because it's Shakespeare tourism, you know. The RSC is there in town, the Royal Shakespeare Company. It was really good. Also, that coming back to the whole Stratford experience for me, because it's one thing to tell your kids about Shakespeare. They're never going to know him. They're never going to get him beyond the textbook here. But to be able to actually walk in the countryside where he grew up as a boy, and he's always writing about like the woods that you get lost in. And there's a forest there, the Forest of Arden, that's there that you're like, this is probably where he got his ideas. You know, he was a kid who would have run through these woods, and getting to walk in those same kind of fields and yards and everything. Man, that puts you right there with it.
That is cool.
Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. When you teach Romeo and Juliet, what are your big goals for it?
So I was telling you earlier that I feel like this past semester was the first semester that I really did it justice. And last year, we did it after the EOC test. We had about 2.5, 3 weeks, and you cannot do Romeo and Juliet justice in 2.5, 3 weeks. Because it's such a deep text, and for them to have the buy-in, you really need to dig into these characters. And I feel like, did I introduce them to Shakespeare my first year? Yes. Did we do some close reads and talk about the language and talk about some of the big Romeo and Juliet scenes? Yes. Did I do it justice? No. And that was my biggest disappointment because that was one of like the huge things I was looking forward to doing. So I spent the summer redoing our 9th grade curriculum, and Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet fit in perfectly with the topic coming of age. And so all semester we focus on coming of age, and each unit builds into an aspect of it. So unit 1, we do initiation, what experiences lead you from childhood to adulthood. Unit 2, we go into loss of innocence, and we talk about how a loss of innocence can develop a character. Unit 3, we go into the adolescent and love, and we bring in Romeo and Juliet. And so I always try to get their buy-in right away, being like I said earlier, Romeo and Juliet, you know, they're outside this door at the end of the hallway by the staircase. There may be Romeo and Juliet sitting in this classroom. And of course, the kids, they think Romeo and Juliet's a love story because that's how it's marketed. And so they start pointing at the couples and being like, ooh. And so we talk about how it is a coming of age story and how the themes that they're going to come across in this story, we're going to be talking about family and the pressure of family expectations, what your parents expect of you. And we're going to be talking about true love, love at first sight. What do these things look like? Do they exist? And, you know, right away, their interest is piqued because these kids are thinking about boyfriends and girlfriends and thinking about, am I in love? I have a student right now who started dating someone January 31st. And I hear them every single day. I love you so much. It's not even been a month. And I love you so much. I'm going to miss you so much. I love you. I'll see you at the end of this class. And it's like they're going to die in this 85 minutes.
I know. I always hated seeing that typical couple, the Romeo and Juliet, because they're like so forlorn that they're being separated, and it's like, I love you so much. I'm never going to see you again. I love you.
I can't text you.
You're going to lunch. It's a 30-minute lunch. You'll see. You'll be back.
Oh my gosh. So I always try to get them in it that way. And we're talking about the characters. And so some of my favorite scenes to look at right away, it's in Act 1. The first one, we read the whole thing, but we really dig into certain close read scenes. One of them is the conversation between Romeo and Benvolio.
Yeah.
Because when the play starts off, Romeo is already lovesick over another girl. And I believe that this conversation you can point back to any time during this play to see the true Romeo. 100%.
Yeah.
He's talking about Rosaline, and I marked it even. She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste, for beauty starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now. And so he's talking about how she's never going to have sex with him.
Yeah.
That's Romeo. You get the character Romeo right away.
I wish we had a little violin or something playing, because that's him when he shows up. He's all,
Yes, he is this mopey
like Charlie
teenage
Brown on the worst
boy.
day of his life.
Yes. He's never going to love again. He's never going to see truer beauty. And then what's the first thing he says about Juliet? My eyes have never seen truer beauty than now.
Okay, so I tripped on that part. I knew these things, but when he's at the Capulet party, I was surprised by how fast that happens.
Immediately.
Like, they even just get swept into it. And when he's there, somebody leaves the stage, and immediately Romeo's like, who is this that I've seen And I thought, oh, he's looking at one of the other invited girls. He's not been shown Juliet yet. No, that's Juliet. And he's immediately just like praising her and worshiping her from
Yes.
afar and everything. And I know he's been told by Benvolio and the others, like, oh, I'll show you one that'll turn your swan into a crow, blah, blah. But still, he really does immediately drop dead for this girl. And I had to like flip back to that. And I thought, whoa, for real? We're now. It's live.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes. And so for me, this play, by focusing on the characters, it opens the door to so many real life conversations with these kids. Because to me, I'm like, girls, this is a red flag. Romeo is a walking red flag.
Yeah.
And so you get to have so many of these real conversations. The other thing in Act 1 I love to look at is the conversation between Juliet, her mother, and nurse.
Yes.
Because you get to see that dynamic right away. And so many girls will love to open up and talk about their relationship with their mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like last semester I had some of the best real life conversations with this play. And so that to me makes this play worth it alone is the big discussions you get to have. You get to talk about the F-boys in the world, basically.
Yeah.
You get to talk about the toxic masculinity with Tybalt and Mercutio. And then you get to talk about impulse control. Think before you speak. Think before you act.
So I'm typically in the boat with seniors. And we were doing a thing about Canterbury Tales today. And I was trying to communicate to them that, guys, I really don't care if you can tell me the top 10 traits about the knight, the nun, or whatever. It isn't about them. It's that you're being a better judge of character.
Yes.
And when you're at Walmart, or when you're in the club, or when you're in class next year, or when you're going up to your apartment and there's a guy standing over there and you're going to unlock your door, but your back is to him and you've got a vibe, you need to be a better judge of character because the devil doesn't always wear the red horns and have the painted skin and the pitchfork. He often has a pleasing shape. Hamlet says the devil have power. So that's how he gets in the door in the first place. We need to be a better judge of character. And I started going off. Kaya in the back was like, girl, you are preaching it today. And I said, girl. But she was like, you're one of us, Mr. Crockett. You're one of us. I'm with seniors, though. With freshmen, the whole conversation about impulse control, man, I didn't even think about that. But it is one you got to have with these kids nowadays.
Yes.
I didn't even think of that.
Yes.
I'm over here thinking about, okay, well, we're talking about marriage and careers and stuff like that. But yeah, at the 13 and 14-year-old level, you're still having to talk to these kids who want to stand in their chairs and whoop, whoop, whoop.
And yell 6'7".
Oh, my God. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to shut down.
I mean, literally, you have to talk to them about do not say the first thing that pops into your head.
Yeah. Even though we're in high school, you still have to go over that.
Yes, I'm telling you, 9th grade is the 6th grade of the high school.
Ooh, yeah. I can
You're
understand
literally
that.
having to teach them how to do school again. Just like you're teaching 6th graders how to be a middle schooler, you're teaching 9th graders how to be a high schooler.
So I don't have experience teaching 9th grade, but what was it you said to me the other day? I see the vision. I see the vision. That's where I am. I see the vision, Anna. You immediately bring up, okay, we're covering this for Valentine's Day and all of that, but you have reinforced the idea that Romeo and Juliet is not a love story.
It's a caution tale.
I'm pretty sure this play is called The Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
Shakespeare never said the romance of it. He called it the tragedy. He literally tells you in the prologue, these two kids are going to die.
But I mean, there's people that when you finish reading this play, they think it's romantic. They think what Romeo and Juliet do in the end is romance.
Right.
Juliet is a child.
They don't get it. Okay, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I've got it on my list here that I want to come back to. I was reading the prologue last night, and I immediately thought, okay, is Shakespeare throwing some shade at these people? Because he immediately has the prologue open up that this is about two households, both alike in dignity. What's that supposed to mean? Mm-hmm. Because on the surface, it sounds like, in dignity, that they are both noble houses. Mm-hmm. But we know that they're at war with each other. And I think it's hysterical that when the Capulets and the Montagues start arguing, the citizens start getting out the torches and pitchforks and 2x4s and are like, run them out, run them out. The citizens are sick and tired of your crap, Montagues and Capulets. So what does it mean to be alike in dignity? Is that supposed to be sarcasm? And in my gut of guts, I got to believe that Shakespeare's being sarcastic about them too.
Because, I mean, let's be real. Think about Sparta. And if there were two families going around feuding, you would be sick of those families, no matter their wealth.
Because the Hatfields and the McCoys are causing us to have to deal with all their problems too. We're having our houses set on fire. We're having our people getting shot and stuff. We're being punished.
Because you guys can't control yourselves.
Right. So I was thinking, ooh, I love that Shakespeare's already throwing you some shade. But I don't know that a lot of people get that. But it's an easy conversation to have with people about, we should stop taking things at surface value. And maybe people are being ironic. I also wanted to piggyback on your earlier comment when you said that this is great to use with ninth graders. I think it's not a hard play to get. And I know I'm a veteran teacher of Shakespeare, so it's one thing for me to open the play and read through it. But I guarantee you, I could give this to my son who's about to read it in 8th grade, and he could go through it, and I don't think it's going to be too difficult to get.
No.
I think here's another thing. Shakespeare uses plenty of comedy in the beginning of this play. And I teach Caesar, Hamlet, Macbeth, and there's not so much comedy in the start of those plays as there is in this. The servant boy Peter, Benvolio's jokes, the Queen Mab speech, like a lot of these things. There's a lot of this humor, some of it's crude humor or whatever. There's a lot of humor in this that, I mean, what are we doing with humor in the front of a tragedy? But it makes it so palatable and easy to get. You don't have to worry about spoon feeding it to the kids. We all can laugh at it. So part of me wonders if maybe there aren't some mixed signals that our audience gets. And then it's like, I don't know, this is a tragedy, but bless them. I love to laugh along with them, and you love to see people in love, and oh, bless them. Maybe we're confusing sentimentality for an appreciation for love. But again, what a good conversation to have with people.
Oh, yeah. Also, okay, this is another big conversation I have right at the beginning of the play. So sometimes I think that first section gets skipped, the conversation between the servants.
Really?
Like you show it in the movie,
Why do you
but
think that
you
is?
don't do it because it's vulgar. Like when you're really reading into it, it's vulgar. I mean, they're talking about raping the women. But I mean, it starts a conversation of they're just having boy talk here. They're having like, boys will be boys. This is locker room talk. And the guys immediately are like, we don't talk like that. And then it's like, but
Think
you
again.
do.
Think again.
But you do. And girls start chiming in saying, oh, no. I heard you in the lunchroom today saying blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
How is that any different than this? And the boys, the looks on their faces, because they can identify that this is gross.
Yeah.
And the way these guys are talking about the peasant women or the women of the other family, if you come across these women, we're gonna blank, blank, blank.
So I wrote that down here. Samson says, oh, well, I'll cut off the maidens' heads. And my comment was, Samson, what the heck is wrong with you? And then I thought, oh, wait, okay, I get what he means. Right after that, because he says, he's basically saying, I'll take their maiden head, I'll take their virginity.
Yeah.
Right after that, he says, well, me they shall feel while I'm able to stand, which is supposed to be a dirty joke, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, really, what the heck is wrong with you, Samson? I was just like, you got to be kidding me. What is wrong with you? I think that there's a window here to talk to kids about, okay, this was in the 1600s. We live in 2026. We hope to call this progress, that maybe we don't find that so funny, right? That we don't.
Right.
Except every single humans are humans are humans. People are people. Boys and girls are still like, we are humans.
Oh, yeah.
And they still talk like that.
They still talk like that. And they can pick up on the fact it grosses you out reading it in Romeo and Juliet, but I've heard you say it in the hallway.
Yeah.
I've heard you say gross stuff about girls. I've heard you say gross stuff about guys. And last semester, the Livingston basketball drama was going on. And so they started talking about locker room talk. And then they were like, okay, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. We're pretty gross. So it opens, freshmen are allowed to have that deep conversation of, okay.
And, you know, it's not even just freshmen. Like, this goes all the way up into adults as well.
For sure. I think.
We all know adults who will make jokes that you're just like, dude, really?
Too far.
Really? We live in a day and age where the Epstein files are talked about, but here in America, like, the powers that be aren't doing really anything about them. They're not. That's probably going to get this episode canceled, but the algorithm's going to be like, delete. But really, and we're all grossed out by it, but nothing at the superior level is being done about it, and we're bothered by that. So now I'm in 2026 reading about Juliet being 13 years old, and I'm like, oh, good God, 13. And I had to remind myself, Jason, this was in the 1600s. He's talking about probably people from a previous time in Italy. We're just going to say that's what we call progress. But then, who was the character that said that? Paris, Count Paris is talking, and he says, oh, younger than she, our happy mother's maid. And my comment was, Paris, in all caps, dude, what the heck is wrong with you people? And Juliet's own mother echoes the same exact thing.
That's what I was about to pull up, because she basically says, well, I was already a mother at your age. I was with child at your age.
Lady Capulet here. Here in Verona, ladies of esteem are already made mothers. And my comment in all caps, geez, Lady Capulet, what the actual heck? I thought you were on our side. What is wrong with people? And so here we are in 2026, and we're hearing about the Epstein files. And I feel like this just reads a little bit more seriously. Like, oh, Juliet's 13. Can we hit the brakes here, people?
Yes.
But nobody in her circle is doing that. They're still pressuring her of, hey, come on, you can get married now. It's fine.
The exact words from her mom, I was your mother much upon these years that you are now a maid. And if you look at the modern translation, by my count, I was already your mother at just about your age while you remain a virgin.
Yeah.
Okay, mommy dearest. Wow. Imagine having that conversation with your mother.
And I really cannot imagine any listeners of this show are going to be mad at me for what I'm about to say next, because this is a show about books and thinking. So probably my audience is like in line with this. But yeah, we recently had an alternative halftime show by a guy whose lyrics were celebrating getting with younger women as if that's something to be glorified and bragged about. And that the same performer, Kid Rock, in another circumstance was talking about young women, and that he was like, I mean, I don't know what y'all are complaining about. If they're of this age, then it sounds like it's time to play. And it's like, what is humanly wrong with you? What is humanly wrong with you people? But Count Paris doesn't see a problem with it. Lady Capulet doesn't see a problem with it. Samson, whatever, doesn't see a problem with it. Like, what the heck is wrong with people?
No, and I mean, there's still people nowadays that speak like that. Like in the blue collar world, my husband is working with someone right now, and he'll never listen to this podcast. I don't think he reads many books. Not my husband, the person I'm about to speak about. But he said, as long as they're old enough to drive, that's fine. This is a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
Talking about a 16-year-old.
Wrong.
Gross.
And if you're talking about family, I've also spent time with family, eating with family at like a Thanksgiving get-together who went on and on about similar things. And it's like, what is humanly wrong with you all? So part of me wants to say, Jason, it's generational, but you're right. Like, I've got boys in class, seniors, who will say crude things. And I don't even want to hear the whole boys are boys, girls are girls, boys are allowed to say, no. I think we still need to have conversations. And I get that I'm the guy who literally has been saying people are people are people. We still need to raise awareness about this. That should not be something that's excused. Especially when we see it on TV and are like, well, so-and-so said it was fine. So-and-so was in favor of it. Okay, let's have a conversation about these influencers and celebrities and how this is gross.
No, and I mean, like, on one hand, I feel like that's our jobs as English teachers. Because to me, okay, you might not be going to college and you might not be going to go write a ton of essays in college and read deep literature, but you still need to know how to be a good person.
Yeah.
You still need these cautionary tales and have these conversations of, can you put yourself in someone else's shoes and see how this ends up? Like, I feel like it's partly our job to have these conversations.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I clearly am the novice with this one. I don't know this play so well. But in all the productions of Romeo and Juliet you've ever seen, you ever seen Juliet performed by a 13-year-old?
No. How old in the...
Olivia Hussey?
Yeah,
in the 68 one?
she was like 15, 16, right?
See, I was thinking she was a little bit older than that.
Okay.
Like teen.
Because it was the drama.
Right. I was thinking she was like 17 or something like that, which still, but I think that's a comment right there. If we've never seen Juliet performed by a 13-year-old,
there's a reason.
Then maybe it's because all of us know gross. There's a reason we shouldn't be casting her this way. And I know Romeo is supposed to be about how old?
17.
17. So maybe it's... maybe some people find it a little bit more palatable because it's like, well, he's also almost 18. I just don't know. I just don't know with that.
Right.
Do you have a favorite Romeo and Juliet?
Oh, okay. I love the 1996 Baz Luhrmann.
Okay, a lot of people rave about that one.
But for me, it's the 1968 with Olivia Hussey. Like, I think to me it's the most accurate.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. Like, if you're capturing the vibe of the play, I think that one stands out.
Yeah.
Also, I've shown several clips from both at different times when we do close reads. The kids like it.
Okay, cool.
You know, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to show you the 1996 clips with young Leo and the guns.
Which is now 30 years old this year.
And and I also showing young Leo. Yeah. It gets kind of creepy now that he dates
people that are the same age as Claire Danes in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I remember our English teacher, my freshman year in 93, 94, showed us the 1968 Romeo and Juliet. And I remember even back then it felt like, okay, this is probably a little bit dated or whatever. So that makes me feel good that, okay, kids still like it.
They do. They want to watch that one.
Over the Leo one.
And I'm thinking with the guns and the violence and, you know, I mean, the way that one is portrayed, in my mind, I automatically think they're going to want to watch this one, but they want to watch. When I ask them after we finish it, I always give them a reward day, and I'm like, we're going to watch the whole thing. Which one do you want to watch? They want to watch the 1968 one. Okay. And a part of me is like, yes.
Well, good. A previous teacher in ninth grade English here was very against showing the Baz Luhrmann one. I think she was worried about students or parents having issues with things that are shown in that one. I'm not really clear on what. I can't say for sure. But that was kind of like, for this teacher, was like, that's a no-go.
I showed it.
But you showed it, yeah.
I did show it.
I don't know that I know of another Romeo and Juliet besides those two.
There's a 2013 version with Haley Steinfeld. She was in True Grit. It is okay.
Okay.
They changed some things in it, and it's not line for line. They definitely are doing a more... the time period is correct, but the translation, they're doing a more modern translation. It is not true to the dialogue.
Don't you hate when people mess with the recipe and then it's like, couldn't you just stick to the recipe?
Yes. And so that one, I have a hard time with that one.
Okay.
And then I also like to show clips from a Globe Theater production as well.
Cool. Drew has talked about that too, how you all show that one.
Yeah.
But now that one will sometimes cast like certain characters by actors of color, right? And so he says, students get so hung up on, wait a minute, he's not like a black character in here. Who cares?
Who cares?
Right?
Yeah. It's like Hamilton. I mean.
It is exactly like that.
Yeah.
Theater is meant to be for the humans, and it doesn't matter what color, gender, whatever. I agree with that. I have a Romeo and Juliet movie that is not really Romeo and Juliet, but it's Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, I
Right?
love Shakespeare in Love.
I loved that movie.
I
which
absolutely love it.
was written by Tom Stoppard, right?
Yes.
Who did Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead that Courtney and I talked about. And I didn't know that at the time, but I remember loving Shakespeare in Love. And then while I was rereading Romeo and Juliet, I was reminded, I was like, oh, wait, because it's supposed to be like, here's how Shakespeare got his ideas for it by falling in love with Violet de Lesseps and stuff like that. And then I kept seeing lines in Romeo and Juliet that show up in their interactions. So it's like, oh, that's where he got it from. Like when Violet de Lesseps is being told that you're going to marry so-and-so, this guy that's just like Count Paris. And when asked, do you want to get married? She says, it is an honor I dream not of. And I was like, that's Juliet. When she says the same exact thing.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that I go over whenever I'm drawing the kids in. This story is still being told. Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Warm Bodies. It's a zombie movie, but it's Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
West Side Story.
Exactly. I also, and there was I think it's a comic book too, where it's, they invert the names. I think it's called Julio and Romiet, but I think it's a comic book too. But still, you can reinvent without completely rewriting the recipe and hit success on these things. West Side Story is absolutely Romeo and Juliet, and it knocked it out of the park. And okay, so it's not a line-by-line translation, but it's Romeo and Juliet.
It's Romeo and Juliet.
And they were faithful to the story. So you can do that. When I read the part where Juliet shows up on stage for the first time, I don't know what it was. I'd have to look back at the page, but it kind of just made me think you're supposed to have a big audience reaction. Like we're supposed to be like, oh, it's Juliet. Way more than when Romeo shows up because he is so Charlie Brown, head down,
So
I'm having the
mopey.
worst day of my life. But when Juliet shows up, she's like, here, mother. And I feel like we're all supposed to be like what?
Yes.
Juliet? What the heck is that? I don't know why, but I feel like we are supposed to have an audience applause for Juliet showing up that we don't get for Romeo. Is there a character? Tybalt. What about Tybalt? You bring up toxic masculinity, but what about Tybalt? Is there anything redeemable about him?
Well, I mean, on one hand, I want to say, well, he fights for his family. He's a family man.
Yes.
But also, are you doing it for the wrong reasons?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because just the scene, Romeo and Juliet have secretly married, and Tybalt is seeking revenge. He's trying to find Romeo. You get Tybalt and Mercutio. Romeo shows up and he's like, I can't fight you because I love you and you love someone. And he's trying to say we're family now without saying we're family now. And you feel so bad in that moment. And it's just, I don't know if he's redeemable. I hate his character, and I hate how he's portrayed in all the movies. Like, he's just this little hot... No, I mean, I love it, and I hate it at the same time.
Right.
Like, I love it, but you love to hate him, because he's just this little hothead in all the movies. And in one version, Ed West, the 2013 version, this is the only part that I think it just gets... It gets teenage Hannah. But Ed Westwick plays him, which... That's Chuck Bass from Gossip Girl. And so it's like Chuck Bass playing Tybalt is perfect.
Yeah.
But that's the only redeemable part of that movie.
John Leguizamo plays him in the 96 version, right?
Yes, and he plays him as this fiery hothead.
Yeah.
And it's perfect.
And I think Michael York played him in the 68
And
version,
he's
right?
such a snob. I mean, he is such a, well,
Yeah.
like, just every time he's portrayed, you love to hate him
Yeah.
because you need a character you absolutely have to hate.
Tybalt might be my actual favorite, just because
Well,
of
yeah.
what you've said. That
And
we
he's
love to hate
well
him.
written.
Yeah.
He's well written because, like, you passionately hate him.
Yeah. Mercutio? What about him? Thumbs up or down?
For me, he's like thumbs in the middle.
Okay. But he's supposed to be he's supposed to be the funny guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to be the one that we feel bad that he got stabbed. And, if you look for me tomorrow, you'll find me a grave man, because I'll be in my grave.
Yeah.
That kind of, he's still making jokes on the way to falling down. Like, aren't we supposed to feel bad that, oh no, it's our Mercutio? I don't know that I feel that.
I don't really care.
I really don't.
I don't think I feel much towards him, period.
What about Benvolio? I'm also, I think, even less mid about him.
Yeah. I would say thumbs in the middle for him.
Nurse?
I like Nurse.
Do you?
I do like Nurse.
Because she's funny or because she's sweet? Because she does look at Juliet like
a
a
mother.
daughter. Because
Yeah.
she wet nursed her.
Yeah. And she lost her own daughter.
Right.
And so to her, it's like, I think she is the mother figure for Juliet. Because in that scene that I love to look at, it's in Act 1, when it's Nurse, Juliet, and Juliet's mother, I have the kids make a chart, and we chart out character traits for each of them. And Nurse, Juliet's mother is like, marry Paris, you'll learn to love him. And Nurse is like, I just want you to be happy.
Nurse says that Paris is a man of wax, like he's sculpted. And it's
That
just
makes
like,
me think of a Ken doll.
Exactly right.
It's like you just think Paris is a Ken doll.
But something I never really knew or remembered or whatever, Juliet's birthday is on Lammas Eve, it says. So Lammastide is supposed to be the first day of August, which means Juliet's birthday is July 31st. And if that's true, she and Harry Potter have the same birthday. She and J.K. Rowling have the same birthday. She and Wesley Snipes or Mark Cuban or B.J. Novak from The Office or actress Eve Best, who was in, she was in Ted Lasso and a bunch of other things. Zach Brown from the Zach Brown Band, Fatboy Slim. Oh, and we can't forget Lil Uzi.
Lil Uzi.
Lil Uzi.
With the diamond in his forehead.
So Juliet's a July 31st kid. I just never knew that. I don't know that matters to anything, but hey, there you go.
Fun fact.
Yeah, Nurse, I feel like is supposed to be more motherly than Lady Capulet is, who is still like formally got, and maybe that's also a statement of class because you see that in Downton Abbey and some other things where it's like the wet nurse has spent so much time raising you from childhood. You probably feel a little more sentimental connection to the wet nurse, whereas mother is the formal creature that I am now an adult. I will be learning from her.
Well, and I mean, also, her mother is still young herself.
Yeah.
Because if you do the math,
She's 26.
Exactly. Exactly. And so it's almost like the kids play her a certain way, which Claire Hawkins always read for her in my class.
Why is that? Because she was good at it?
Yeah. She wanted to. She wanted to be the cold mother.
Oh, okay.
So,
Got it.
Yeah. Which I just thought was hilarious. But you want, like, the kids want to be like, oh, she's so cold, she's evil. But at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, she was a kid when she got married and had a child. To her, this is just her job. And now it's her job to make sure her daughter does the same thing.
Right. 26. I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, she's younger than me.
What an old woman in Verona. What an old hag.
What a
26.
hag. Yeah. She might as well be dead.
When I was reading her, I imagined Lady Capulet played by Angelica Houston.
Ooh, yeah.
Like Morticia Addams, Angelica Houston. But even then, No, that's older than 26. Like, none of these characters are we finding palatable to cast as their young ages. Like, we need to bump the bar up.
Oh, I know. Like, let's actually show it.
So what makes Romeo and Juliet something that we should reconsider for the classroom? If we had to list our reasons and be like, okay, maybe we should sub it out, what would Drew say? We're going to sit here with the ghost of Drew, like the ghost of Hamlet's father. The ghost of Drew, what would he say? Ooh, it's because it sucks. I don't like it.
He says it's overdone.
All
that
right.
it's just, he's sick of doing it.
Overplayed.
You
and I think we hit that road bump this morning when we were talking about stuff. I'm getting ready to teach Macbeth. I teach it 2 times a day, 2 times a year. So 4 times a year. Oh no, 4 times a school year. As much as I love Macbeth, after 18 years of doing it so many times, you're kind of ready for a break from Macbeth to do something different. The problem is Macbeth is so good and it's, golly, increasingly socially relevant. Hamlet. I mean, it is the penultimate, for me, it is the penultimate work of Shakespeare. If you're going to find something in Shakespeare, you're going to find it in Hamlet. You want anything, it's in Hamlet. And I teach it 2 times a year, so I'm not as worn out on it. And same thing with Caesar. I'm kind of hitting that bump with Macbeth a little bit. So I get the overplayed of, man, we use it all the time. It's always everywhere. Can't we find something to do? I get that. I think people would probably also complain. I mean, it's Shakespeare. And for some people, I'm aghast at this, but for some people, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth, Shakespeare, because the language, we all get fatigued from that. But the overplayed bit, I also think maybe there are people out there who would make the case of, hey, look, Juliet's 13. Do we really need to be glorifying that or tragicomedying that?
Yeah, for me, I could see the suicide being an issue at the end. Like, are we really going to be putting this idea in kids' minds?
Yeah. And I certainly do not make light of it in any of my classes, but in my sophomore class, we go from Antigone, which features, or Oedipus and Antigone, which features suicide, into Julius Caesar, which features suicide, into Gatsby, into Hamlet. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's tragedy all year long. And it's difficult to teach Roman suicide or Antigone. Like, you're thinking these noble characters did this because it was supposed to be their way of nobly exiting a stage that they couldn't otherwise win. And for a Roman citizen like Brutus or Cassius, you're trying to talk for Hamlet, who's like, I wish that this too solid flesh would melt and resolve itself into a dew. Like, he's thinking about, do I end it because that's the noble thing, or I'm exhausted with these things? But you have these kids in class who are all too human, and everybody has those thoughts at some point in their life.
Well, I mean, it's like at the beginning, impulse. Like, these are impulsive kids.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you think about these school shootings and all these documentaries that are coming out of, a school shooting inspired another school shooting, which inspired these kids, or, the Scream movie inspired the Scream murder, those 2 boys that killed their friend.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do you really want to read a story where 2 impulsive teenagers don't get what they want, and so they kill themselves?
I want kids in class to know that we all do encounter these thoughts at some point in your life, but that you yourself are not your thoughts.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, you may like the jacket that you're wearing. You may hate the jacket that you're wearing. It doesn't mean that you are not worth anything. You can put the jacket off. You can take the jacket off. You can leave it behind, and eventually you'll move on. It's like the girl who came through today and was so frustrated about feeling mediocre. And she's like, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this. And everything, I'm just mediocre. And she started crying on us. And it's like we had to talk to her and say, yeah, but you feel that way right now. You're just having a schmutzy day. We all have those. But you're going to go out there. You're going to take a big girl breath. and you're going to do your best and forget the rest.
You've got to talk to your head sometimes.
That's right. So while that is not something to be glorified, you know, the teen suicide of Romeo and Juliet or whatever, it does give you a window to say, hey, they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
This is not how we do this.
This
do not
should
appreciate
make you
this.
feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And sometimes those uncomfortable conversations are important to have because, I mean, you may have a kid sitting in your class that needs to hear, hey, you're worth something.
Yeah. But the problem with Romeo and Juliet is that it's couched in so much comedy and supposed romance that maybe our naive readers or the kids who aren't really paying attention, we just blur those lines and are like, oh, and we get, it is a play of emotions.
Which is why it's a play that needs, like, you've got to do it and give it justice.
Yeah.
You can't just half do it. You have to have the hard conversations with it.
All right, teacher lady. So if I'm batting it back into your court now and it's like, okay, but here's why we need it in the classroom. You've made all your cases. What happens if we deleted Romeo and Juliet from next year's curriculum? You now have a vacuum. What do you fill it with? What do you supplant Romeo and Juliet with?
West Side Story. All right, I raise you Romeo and Juliet with gangs.
Do you know, I love that kind of rebellion where you get told you can't have something and you're like, okay, I'll just change it with the same exact thing. And then just looking them straight in the eye. Okay, we'll just do this.
I genuinely thought about that today. Like, I thought, okay, what if I'm told I cannot do Romeo and Juliet anymore? What if Crockett's like, we're done. We're done with Romeo and Juliet? Because in my mind, you're making that decision. And so I'm like, okay, I raise you a West Side Story. The kids love the outsiders. Let's give them that rivalry with Romeo and Juliet.
Drew, I mean, we've been talking about all these plays that I've been making you all read for me this year. And Drew was like, what's the next one going to be? He's like, are you ever going to do a musical? I actually do have a musical coming up that I want us to talk about. But then you batting back with, West Side Story, that's what I'd teach. I was like, perfect. Because you could totally teach a musical. You could teach the lines. You could teach the scenes, the character development. You could teach everything with it. And that does supplant Romeo and Juliet. I mean, it echoes Romeo and Juliet. What do you think kids or culturally would miss out on? I mean, is that what we're basically missing out on, the Shakespeare cultural aspect? If we said, okay, no more Romeo and Juliet. If we still were going to teach West Side Story, what are we losing if we drop Romeo and Juliet?
I think you're losing the difficulty of the language, and I think it's important to do hard things. It's important to read things that are difficult and challenge your brain and learn the language and how it works.
Sometimes the preacher preaches and it's like, are you preaching at me right now? Was that message meant for my heart? And when you said, you know, the language is difficult and sometimes we just got to do the hard things, I kind of budged up and I was like, amen. Amen. I can quit and go home now and Hannah can have my job because that is exactly right. I am sold.
I'm just so sick of people taking the easy way out. Amen. And I'm so sick of AI writing essays and answering short response questions that we've talked about all week. Do not give me a Google AI answer. And so for me, I'm like, okay, why would we be taking away Romeo and Juliet and the difficult language and replacing it with the same story, but it's easier to read?
You know what irritates me about this whole AI thing right now is that the kids in class have turned. They have turned. Like a couple of years ago when it came out, of course, everybody wanted to hop on board and be like, oh, well, I'll just use it. But now I'm getting so many kids that are just disgusted by it. I mean, out loud, vocally disgusted by it. And they'll call it AI slop in the classroom, right?
Yeah.
But they're disgusted by it. Do I still get kids who want to use it? Oh, yeah, of course. But the people that are abusing it in my universe are the adults.
Yes.
And the kids are just like, oh, come on.
Yes.
Like they're sick and tired of it, which makes me feel like in no time at all, some of you have gotten sick and tired of the easy way and are like, but where's the authentic way?
Yeah.
Like, what are we missing out on? And what the heck are we even doing here if we aren't doing our best for the kids? What the heck? So maybe Romeo and Juliet's that. Do you have a favorite lesson that you think of with Romeo and Juliet? If somebody out there were like, oh, okay, well, I got to teach Romeo and Juliet. What's a cool thing I could do to teach it?
Okay. So last semester I did character starter packs, and they could choose Romeo or Juliet, and they had to build a starter pack for that character with the items, like what would this character carry with them.
I love that.
And then you had to tell me why on each item. Like you had to have that written component of, well, this item displays Romeo's impulsiveness, and you can see this in this scene. And it was so much fun.
This is me writing down that idea so I can steal it for later.
Yeah.
We should also tell people to go check out your Teachers Pay Teachers, because you had another idea on there about a couple, right? Did you use that for Romeo and Juliet? So
Yes.
if people want to know, they should go to your Teachers Pay Teachers.
Yes,
and
Randolph
get
in
this.
real life. Teachers Pay Teachers. That's my shameless plug. That embarrasses me to plug it, but
It was a really cool lesson.
Okay, so this was my Romeo and Juliet intro, because I also do argumentative writing with Romeo and Juliet. So to introduce argumentative writing and Romeo and Juliet, I had this assignment called Josh and Sarah, which I will say I learned about it in my AP training this summer.
Nice.
And it is like a revamped Mark and Carly. And so basically, you have this couple, Josh and Sarah, and you have to decide, should they work it out, stay together, or should they break up? And you have to go through and you decipher all of the sources. So you look at their schedules. You have Josh's schedule, you have Sarah's schedule. You look at Instagram post and the comments and who's liking what. You look at Snapchats. You look at, there's a Teen Vogue article in there. You look at text messages. And so you have to look through all of this evidence and decide, are these two just toxic together? Or, can they pull through and work it out? Are there other things coming between them? In the end, they're toxic and they should not stay together. Everybody wants to know Miss Randolph's opinion. Well, you heard it here first. Josh and Sarah should get the heck away from each other.
Oh, yeah. You had shared it with me, and of course, I always say good writers borrow, great writers steal. Good teachers borrow, great teachers steal. You adapted this from an idea at AP training and have made it really successful. So if people want to know how to do it well, they should go to your Teachers Pay Teachers and learn how to do it. You were sharing it with me and were like, hey, you could do this with Macbeth or something like that. And I considered it, but I was also just like, I don't know that I could ever do it as well as Hannah does.
Well, I'm trying to figure out other ones that I can do, because I'm telling you, that was the most engagement I got all semester. And I mean, I have an engaged class, but man, the feedback I got from that assignment, the kids loved it. I've had kids come in this semester being like, hey, so-and-so was telling me about this assignment. When are we doing that? That sounded really fun. They were sharing the sources and being like, what do you think?
I love that.
I had kids that Jade and Aubrey did it.
Yeah.
They asked me to share it with them so they could do it on their own time for fun.
Sounds like people need to go check out Randolph in real life and get this Josh and Sarah lesson from you.
That's right. It's my bestseller.
All right. Romeo and Juliet, we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it. Right? We're going to keep it.
Keep it, cherish it, do it justice.
Have
the hard conversations.
Answer all the hard questions, really hardball them with it. Whether it's Valentine's or not, and hopefully you and Radio America have a good Valentine's. Even if you're not with a Romeo and Juliet, that's probably a better thing to not be with a Romeo or Juliet for Valentine's, because you can do better. America can do better than Romeo or Juliet. But we got to keep the play so we can prove that to people, right?
That's right.
Upcoming, we're going to talk about some new plays. I know that one that I'm looking at right now is Henrik Ibsen. I I have taught his play A Doll's House before. So at some point, you and I are going to talk about that.
Yes.
But we're also, with Drew, going to talk about a socially relevant. I'm on a kick right now about social commentary in theater. I did this whole thing with the sophomores the other day about Bruce Springsteen and Born in the USA and how people misheard that in the 80s and it was like, oh, yeah, heck yeah. And even President Reagan was like, let's use that for my re-elect campaign song. It's like, did you actually listen to the lyrics? Because this is not an embrace of America. This is like, man, America's in a really rotten hole right now. So music, theater, these are meant to be social commentary avenues, right? They're vehicles for social commentary. And coming up, I really want us to talk about Henrik Ibsen's Enemy of the People. Do you have any other plays that you've thought about recently that you're like, ooh, we should do that?
I want to read Our Town. I've never read that. It popped up for me the other day, and I've added it to my list.
Good. I think I have an extra copy. Don't buy it. I think I have an extra copy somewhere. I'm going to dig it up because Drew and I are going to talk about it. So Kristen and I read it last fall, and now this month, February 2026, Tennessee Tech is showing Our Town. Starting this weekend, they are doing a production with Prudence Van Alten directing Our Town.
Okay.
Do you know anything about it?
No.
Kristen and I didn't either, other than you hear the high schools always used to perform it. What's that? And then you actually get into it, and it's a sad play. Like it's good, but it's sad. So I would like for us to, you, me, and Drew also talk about it. But I would also like to talk to Prudence Van Alten at Tennessee Tech and see like, why did you choose Our Town for 2026? And part of me wants to Jiminy Glick it, but why? Like, is it socially relevant to now?
Give me more.
I feel like I've just got it stuck in my head that people like Shakespeare or any director, like you're picking these plays because they really speak to the people of now. There should be something eternal about them, but why now? Why Our Town now in 2026? Van Alten could have picked anything, right? Tennessee Tech, Backdoor Playhouse could have picked anything. Why did you slot in Our Town right now? Are we looking at a simpler time? Are we looking at maybe an ideal view of Americans? Are we looking at, I don't know, when you look at us on the face value, do we really know what we're yearning for? Like, why Our Town? So I'd like to have conversations like that. The hard questions. That's what we're known for asking here. Well, happy Valentine's Day.
Eat some chocolate.
Eat some chocolate, you Montagues, you Capulets.
Your red box of chocolates.
You're more Capulet, right, than Montague?
Oh, yeah.
I think I am too. I think I'm more Capulet.
Yeah.
I think there's people in this building, though. I think even teachers, probably you in your office, y'all probably know who are the Montagues and Capulets in your office. Who are the Montagues and Capulets in your church? Who are the Montagues and the Capulets in your group chat? Do you already know them? Do you already know, if you're thinking about your friend group chat, who are the Montagues and the Capulets? Boy, I already know. My guy group chat, the fellowship, I already know who are the Montagues and the Capulets in there. I think one side's way skewed more than the other is. Second Stage is a Free Zone radio production, recorded in Sparta, Tennessee. If you enjoyed the show, please give it a like, share it, subscribe for more. Word of mouth is the best advertising. And if you want to hear more, look up our other podcast with honors, now in its newest season, and our brother podcasts, A Dead Man's Books and Haston Curation. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you consume great podcasts.
Hey everyone, my name is Drew, and I want to talk to you about my show, A Dead Man's Books. The show was created with the mindset of whenever I pass away, as morbidly as that sounds, that my children would inherit my books, and of all the things that I'm going to pass down to them, I think that that's the one thing that I want them to make sure that they keep and go through on their own time, but I want to be there next to them whenever they read these things. And so I created a podcast so that they could go back and listen to me and my friends and other people as we read through these books and what we had to think about it. But it's grown to so much more. We've got authors we interview. We talk about everyday life. We talk about how literature connects to life. All of those things in one place. And now we want you to come along with us and join us. This is a podcast not just for my kids, but for everyone who loves to read, everyone who loves a good story, everyone who's a parent, everyone who's a teacher, everyone who just enjoys literature. This is a place to come. So come join us every Monday on A Dead Man's Books.